There are some truths that shake you to your core, not because they are loud, but because they have been quietly operating in your life for far too long. These are the truths that don't announce themselves with chaos. They whisper through patterns, through people, through moments you brushed off as nothing. But deep down, you felt it. Something wasn't right. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself you were overthinking. You gave people the benefit of the doubt. You chose comfort over confrontation because it was easier to believe that everything around you was normal. But what if it wasn't? What if the very thing disturbing your peace has been sitting right next to you, smiling in your face? This is not about fear. This is about awareness. Because once you see clearly, you cannot go back to being blind. And too many people are suffering today, not because they are weak, but because they are unaware of what they are connected to. There are forces in life that do not need distance to affect you. They only need access. And access is not gained through strangers. It is gained through trust, through familiarity, through proximity. That's why the real danger is not far away. It is close enough to know your name, your habits, and your struggles. If your peace has been disturbed, if your life feels like it's under pressure without clear reason, then you need to pay attention. Because what you're about to understand may change how you see everything and everyone around you. The first thing you must understand is this: nothing meaningful happens without access. Access is the doorway to influence. And the people who have the most access to you are the ones you trust the most. That's not by accident. That's how it works. When someone is always around, always listening, always asking questions about your life, it may seem like care, but not all attention is love. Some attention is observation. Some questions are not about concern. They are about collecting information. Think about it. Who knows your emotional triggers? Who knows when you're at your lowest? Who knows the details of your struggles, your doubts, your frustrations? That kind of knowledge is powerful, and in the wrong hands, it becomes very dangerous. When you speak freely without discernment, you give away more than words. You give away access points. Every complaint, every moment of weakness, every emotional breakdown becomes a piece of a larger puzzle. And once that puzzle is complete, influence becomes easier. That's why you must pay attention to people who seem overly interested in your personal life. Not everyone who asks questions deserves answers. Not everyone who listens is on your side. The next level is where things become more serious. This is where observation turns into influence. This is where your emotions start being played with in ways you don't immediately recognize. Have you ever noticed how certain people leave you feeling drained? How one conversation can shift your entire mood? You were fine before, but afterward, you feel confused, irritated, and unsure of yourself. That is not random. Words are powerful. The right words, spoken at the right time, can trigger emotions that throw you completely off balance. And when your emotions are unstable, your judgment becomes weak. Some people know exactly what to say to provoke you. They know how to push your buttons without making it obvious. They create tension, then step back and watch you react. Then they come back as the one to comfort you. That cycle is not natural. That is control. Because once someone can control your emotional state, they can influence your decisions. And once your decisions are influenced, your direction in life begins to shift. You start doubting yourself. You hesitate more. You lose confidence. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to move away from your own power. Here is where the truth becomes undeniable. Patterns do not lie. If something keeps happening over and over again, connected to the same person, it is not coincidence. Pay attention to what happens after certain interactions. Do problems follow? Does your peace get disturbed? Do things in your life start to go wrong shortly after you connect with someone specific? Life has ups and downs, yes, but repeated, precise patterns tied to one individual are not random. They are signals. If every time you open up to someone, chaos follows, you need to question that connection. If every time you spend time with someone, your energy drops and your focus disappears, you need to take that seriously. Consistency reveals truth, not intensity. Small disruptions repeated over time can create major damage. That's how cycles are formed. That's how people get stuck without understanding why. But once you see the pattern, you gain power because you can't break what you don't recognize. The final sign is the most revealing. It happens when you begin to change, when you start protecting your peace, when you stop oversharing, when you become more focused and disciplined. Watch how certain people react. Do they support your growth? Or do they become uncomfortable? Do they respect your boundaries? Or do they try to pull you back into old habits? Do they celebrate your strength or question it? Growth should not threaten genuine relationships. It should strengthen them. But when someone benefits from your weakness, your strength becomes a problem. You may not notice sudden changes in their behavior, irritation, distance, subtle resistance, or even attempts to reconnect when you have pulled away and found peace. That is not always coincidence. That is reaction. Because when you cut off access, you disrupt influence. And when influence is disrupted, control is lost. Now you see it. Not just the surface, but the deeper reality behind what you have been experiencing. This is not about paranoia. This is about awareness. There is a difference. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You have simply been unaware. And awareness changes everything. The moment you start guarding your energy, your words, and your connections, things begin to shift. You must become selective. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. The cycles you have been facing can be broken, but it starts with recognition. It starts with honesty. It starts with being willing to see what you once ignored. You cannot heal in environments that constantly disturb you. You cannot grow around people who benefit from your confusion. And you cannot move forward while holding on to connections that drain you. Stand firm in your awareness. Trust what you feel. Pay attention to patterns. And most importantly, take your power back. Because once you do, everything that was working against you begins to lose its grip. And what once felt like control becomes nothing more than something you have outgrown. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has helped in your clarity, because so many times in life we're unaware of what's around us, trying to feed us that unseen poison. Let me know what you think. Lance Scurv out. On to the next one. Peace.